Warner Music just bought Sureel AI, a company that tracks how digital content spreads across the internet. But here's the twist. This isn't just about tracking clicks or views. Sureel AI measures how content is used, even when it's altered, shared, or repurposed. That means Warner Music can now see exactly how their music is being used across platforms, even if it's in a remix or a TikTok video. This isn't just a tech move, it's a strategic change. Warner Music is betting on AI to help them understand their audience better and optimize their marketing. But how does this tech work? Let's break it down. Sureel AI uses machine learning to analyze how content moves through the web, tracking its path, even when it's transformed. This is a massive deal for the music industry, and it's changing the game. Let's dive into why this acquisition matters and what it means for the future of music and marketing. Sureel AI is a company that helps brands and creators understand how their content spreads online. Think of it like a digital fingerprint. It tracks how a piece of content moves through the web, even when it's shared, modified, or repurposed. This is different from traditional analytics tools that only measure clicks or views. Sureel AI goes deeper, tracking how content is used, where it's shared, and even how it's transformed. For Warner Music, this means they can now see how their music is being used in different formats, whether it's a TikTok remix, a YouTube video, or a podcast snippet. This level of insight is a game changer. It allows Warner Music to understand their audience better and optimize their marketing strategies. But this isn't just about data, it's about control. By acquiring Sureel AI, Warner Music is gaining a powerful tool to manage their digital presence and ensure their content is used effectively. This is a big move in the music industry, one that could reshape how labels and artists interact with their audiences. Sureel AI works by using machine learning to analyze how content spreads across the internet. Imagine it's like a detective that follows a piece of content from its origin to where it ends up. If a song is shared on TikTok, modified, and then reposted on Instagram, Sureel AI can track that entire journey. It doesn't just count views, it understands context. This is a big deal because it allows companies to see how their content is being used in real time. For Warner Music, this means they can now measure the impact of their music across different platforms and formats. But here's where it gets interesting. Sureel AI doesn't just track the spread of content, it also identifies where the content is being used most effectively. This means Warner Music can now focus their marketing efforts on the platforms and formats that drive the most engagement. It's like having a roadmap of how their content is being used, which is a huge advantage in a competitive industry. This is the kind of insight that can make or break a label in the digital age. Let's take a real-world example. Imagine a song from Warner Music is released on Spotify. A fan shares it on TikTok and it goes viral. But then, the song is remixed and posted on YouTube, where it gains even more traction. Sureel AI can track that entire journey. It sees the original post, the remix, and the YouTube video, even if the song is altered. This means Warner Music can now see how their music is being used in different contexts. For instance, they can tell whether the TikTok version is driving more engagement than the YouTube version, or if the remix is gaining traction on a different platform. This level of insight is a game changer. It allows labels to understand their audience better and optimize their marketing strategies. But here's what most coverage gets wrong. Sureel AI isn't just about tracking content, it's about understanding how that content is being used. This is a massive deal for the music industry, and it's changing the game. Let's see how this compares to other attribution tools. Traditional attribution tools only measure clicks or views, they don't track how content is used. For example, if a song is shared on TikTok and then posted on YouTube, a standard tool might only count the TikTok click and ignore the YouTube post. But Sureel AI sees the entire journey. It doesn't just count the clicks, it understands the context. This is a huge difference. For Warner Music, this means they can now see how their music is being used across different platforms and formats. But here's the kicker. Sureel AI doesn't just track the spread of content, it also identifies where the content is being used most effectively. This means Warner Music can now focus their marketing efforts on the platforms and formats that drive the most engagement. This is the kind of insight that can make or break a label in the digital age. And that's just the beginning. Let's look at the implications of this acquisition. This acquisition has major implications for the music industry. Warner Music is now in a position to control how their content is used across the web. This means they can track not just where their music is seen, but how it's being used, whether it's in a remix, a video, or a podcast. This level of control is a huge advantage. For artists, this means more transparency and better insights into how their work is being used. But here's where it gets complicated. By acquiring Sureel AI, Warner Music is also setting a precedent. Other labels and studios may follow suit, leading to a new era of digital content management. This could change the balance of power in the music industry, giving labels more control over their content and audience engagement. The implications are massive, and this is just the start of a much bigger trend. Let's look at what this means for creators and the future of music. So how does this impact creators? If a creator's music is being used in a remix or a TikTok video, they can now see how that content is spreading. This means more transparency and better insights into how their work is being used. For Warner Music, this means they can now focus their marketing efforts on the platforms and formats that drive the most engagement. But here's what most people miss. This isn't just about tracking content, it's about understanding how that content is being used. This is a massive deal for the music industry, and it's changing the game. For creators, this means more control over how their work is used and a clearer picture of their audience. This is the kind of insight that can make or break a label in the digital age. And that's just the beginning. Let's look at what this means for the future of music and marketing. Warner Music's acquisition of Sureel AI is a big move in the music industry. It's not just about tracking clicks or views, it's about understanding how content is used across the web. This gives Warner Music a powerful tool to manage their digital presence and optimize their marketing strategies. For creators, this means more transparency and better insights into how their work is being used. But here's the thing that changes everything. This acquisition sets a new standard for digital content management in the music industry. It's a change in power, giving labels more control over their content and audience engagement. This is just the beginning of a much bigger trend. And that's what you should be watching for next, how AI is reshaping the music industry and the digital world. Stay tuned for more updates on how this acquisition is changing the game.